Hello everybody and welcome back to my bathroom. So today's video is going to be a pretty short, hopefully, follow of yesterday's video. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video, which is Ben does my makeup, this video isn't going to make as much sense. He did my makeup, he did what he would call a fun little Halloween look, and so I'm going to be recreating that look on my face today while telling you guys the little story of how we met. Nobody asked for this, but I mean, we're living together, we're now down in Florida, and I figured it could be kind of a fun little thing to do while recreating the look he did. So if you'd like to see me recreate that, I'll insert a photo here just in case you don't have time to catch up. If you want to see me recreate this, then please keep on watching. So I'm starting with the primer, which I'm also pretty sure he didn't do, but we're going out to dinner tonight, so I'm going to make sure it stays, I guess. We're gonna have this baby on all night long, no matter how that eyeliner turns out. I'm also not gonna say the products because nobody watches my videos, so I don't think you're watching for what I'm using. If you wanna know, comment down below and I'll let you know really quickly. But I'm just gonna go for it and I'm gonna start the story of how we met as I get into my foundation. Starting off with, we were both in college. I'm going to be giving some context, but because a lot of the parts of the story have other people involved, some of it is going to be a little bit more vague, and I apologize for that, but I'm not going to share other people's personal information on the internet. I'm not in the business of that. I was a sophomore at the University of New Hampshire. Currently at that time, I was studying accounting. I was living in the Mills with a good friend of mine as my roommate, and everything was pretty good. I had recently gone through a breakup, which was pretty bad. He lived out of state, but he went to the same school as me, and we broke up. And it was very sad, and I will admit that was a very weird time for me. So at that time, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna date ever again. I was going through kind of a moment of very strong independence where I think everyone deserves a phase like this, but it's I don't need to date somebody to be happy. I have the most fantastic friends and support system in the world. What I'm going to focus on now is myself and having fun. All of this is for context as to my life was good, but kind of just in disarray. One weekend, I particularly had a very bad week, and my friend Olivia had an a cappella show. She was in a group at a school called WPI, and they had a really big show that night called Temptations of Treasure Island. So she was like, hey, come down and watch. And I was like, heck yeah, I would love to. I've had a really bad week. So I hopped in my car and I drove the hour and a half away. I am looking behind you to look in the mirror, so I'm sorry about that. While I was down there, she basically told me before she went to rehearsal, because if you've ever had a show, you know there was 4 hours of rehearsal before, so I kind of sat in their student union and read and watched YouTube videos and did whatever while I waited for the show to start. I was going to meet her family outside before we went in. She had told me that there was this boy in her brother's a cappella group that was very sweet, very cute. She thought we would get along pretty well. But she told me nothing else other than, I'll introduce you to him later tonight. His name's Ben, and he's in the same group as my brother. So I downloaded Tinder, and I said, I'm going to spend the next little while seeing if I can find him. How many people could I have to scroll through? I forgot there were 9 universities all throughout Worcester. So a lot of people came up. And because I was looking for one person in particular, it was a lot of swiping left until I would see the name Ben, look at their profile. Most of them didn't look like the person she was describing at all, whether it was they didn't go to WPI or, I was really just looking for someone who put they were in an a cappella group in their bio. It was probably after about 2 hours of looking through Tinder, but I came across a boy named Ben, and I was like, you know what? He is cute. I'll super Why not? Because I was never dating again, but I would just love to meet someone that I connected with, kind of leave it at that. Meet someone and then probably, never talk again and just whatever. After that, we matched and we started talking. I sent the first message that just said hey, are you performing in the Temptations of Treasure Island show tonight? And he answered and he said, yes, I am performing in the show tonight. And I don't think he ever said who are you? But I then provided context and I was like, oh, I'm here with Olivia, and if you know her, Ethan's in your group. And I wasn't in an a cappella group. I didn't know how close everyone was, so of course he knew both of them. So yeah, I think we just kind of stopped talking because I was bored. Then he messaged me after their group went at the show and said hey, what did you think? And at this point, I will admit I started getting some butterflies, and I was very annoyed with myself for getting butterflies because I kept reminding myself, you're not meeting anyone. You're not. You refuse. You're not going to meet anybody. And so, we answered and we were chatting for a while and I was like, yeah, we were really good. He was like, I'm the one in this shirt standing next to Ethan. And then he asked if I was going to the after party. It's like, yeah, I'm going with Olivia, but we're going to a pregame first. And I was already sitting in this pregame at the time. So like hours had passed. It was after the show. I was with Olivia's family for a lot of it. But then we were sitting at her friend Steven's house at the pregame. And as I sent him this message, I've learned a lot of his side later, obviously. But he was walking into Steven's apartment as he got my message that said, I'm at Steven's house. I'm gonna do my version of Ben's look, so I'm adding highlight, sorry. This is kind of a long-winded, like, how they met story, but I like it, so now I'm subjecting you to it, sorry. He walked in with his friend, Henry, and came and sat down next to me, and it was super awkward for the first few seconds, because both of us were just incredibly nervous. I had never, like I said, never been on Tinder, let alone like a date. So I didn't really know how this was supposed to work or what we talk about, or it was just kind of weird. So he got up and very blatantly from across the room, Henry said, sit next to her. So at this point I was like, okay, so he's told his friends about me. Of course that makes me nervous. Of course that makes me nervous. We then talk a little bit. It's nothing too serious. I would say it was actually pretty like boring as far as like first conversations go. I don't even remember what it was. And then we went to the party and I remember walking there together and that was the first conversation that was very nice. He asked me about school and my major and I told him that I was kind of in the process of changing and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And, I think I made fun of myself and I was like, being at a school of all engineers, that makes me feel a little bit dumb. If I'm being honest, like I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I can't seem to figure it out. And he was very sweet and told me like, hey, I'm really lucky to have known what I wanted to do since I was little. We're only sophomores. Not knowing what you want to do yet, I have to imagine is very okay and you seem capable. You'll be able to figure it out. And that is when I started realizing that I think I like him. So now we're going into the eyeshadow part. I do have to say I'm very nervous for this. This might end very poorly, so let's do it. I'm gonna have to talk less during this part because I have to focus. We went to the party and it was fun. Like it was a pretty good party. It was at like, I don't believe it was a fraternity house, but it wasn't any of the members' houses, so I don't know what the deal was. But we went, and it was a couple-story house, so we were walking from floor to floor and hanging out. Olivia had to go for a good part of the night because her group has this, like, ritual that they do where they all sit in the room together the night after their big show, and they talk, and they get, sappy. And I love that. I think that's such a great tradition to have. But obviously, having her be my only friend at this party, because I didn't go to this school or know anybody, was a little bit scary. So I kind of clung on to Ben and said, you need to be my friend because I don't know anybody else here. And that is just simply what you have to do. I'm sorry. And he was really cool about it. He was really nice to me and we hung out until Olivia came out and then he kind of went and was with his friends for a while. And I told Olivia, because this was really our first time to catch up since after the show was over, and I told her, like, hey, I think I like him. And at one point, Ben and I just found ourselves kind of in the same room, and no one else was there, and we just spent the whole night talking. No one came in or interrupted us, but he started asking me about my hopes and dreams. He, kind of, led with that. He was like, so what do you want to do? I think it kind of stemmed from, like, the major conversation of like, okay, so you don't want to be an accountant. What is it that you want to do? Like, let's talk this out. Let's figure this out. What do you want to do? And I told him is I would love to like own a theater in New York City. And he told me about all of his aspirations with robots and how he grew up just loving creating things and how he always wanted that to be his future. And long story short, it was one of the best conversations I had ever had. And it was amazing. Until Olivia texted me that we were heading home because she was tired. And so I made Ben take a picture with me because this is the weirdest part, is I looked at him and I said, I think part of me is going to want to like really remember this night. So let's take a selfie. If I can find it, I'll insert it here. I know it's in my photo archive somewhere. So then the gentleman that he walked me home from the party to Olivia's place. So walked both of us home. Hung out inside for a little while. Olivia went to sleep and we sat on the couch and we talked probably not too long because I was very tired, so probably another half hour. And then he went home. And I thought that was the last time I was ever going to see him. It had been a very good night, but I was still very much, despite the fact I liked him, under the impression that I couldn't get into anything right now. Olivia woke up early and had to go do set cleanup. And at this point, you're probably wondering, Peyton, why did you go down and stay with your friend who had to be gone the entire weekend? Because I love her, that's why. And so I was sitting in her apartment and I got a message on Tinder from Ben that essentially, I forget the exact wording, but it was like, hey, can I make you breakfast? Do you want to come over? I was like, I'm really doing nothing else. So yeah, why not? I'd like to see him again. And I went and we watched Black Mirror together and he made breakfast. I left and I went home after all of this. And then once I was home, this is where the story gets even better. So I got home on Sunday. Monday happens, school. Monday night I don't sleep and I am in horrific pain. Like pain I can never explain. I won't even try to get into it because it was the worst pain of my entire life, all in my throat. I called my mom at about 6 a.m. sobbing. I waited all night to call her. I kept my roommate up all night because I was crying. Like it wasn't a pain you could keep in. It was bad. And I went to the doctor and I had mono and some kind of tonsil infection. So I had to then reach out to Ben. We hadn't talked again since I left. Like things were good, but I didn't think they were going anywhere necessarily. And I had to call and tell him I had mono, which is a very scary thing to tell a guy you think you might like. Okay, to be honest, I don't think this is coming out bad. It's not my best look I've ever done, but I'm truly not upset about it. I'm also gonna put on mascara and then I'll be back. All right, y'all, I'm gonna take a quick intermission from talking about our relationship story for me to try to do eyeliner, because I honestly am at the point where I would wear this look out to our dinner tonight, because it's nuts, but it's honestly not the worst thing I've ever done in my life. This eyeliner is either about to make or break me. Should I try a cat eye? Should I get like super bold and just give it a shot? What we're working with. It doesn't look horrific, but it definitely didn't make the look better. Ooh, and it's definitely going in my eye as we speak. This is just so bad. Oh, I need someone to teach me how to do this. I need someone to teach me. Okay, low key, this one, not as bad. So it's not great. It's not even good. So I'm gonna find my lipstick that Ben used because I was gonna use a different one since we were going out to dinner, but now there's no reason because I'm not wearing this anywhere. All right, and this is the final look. Honestly, I'm pretty convinced that Ben did as well as me, if not better, and that, my friends, makes me sad. So I'm gonna finish up this story real quick in case anybody cares. I got mono, so since it was a couple days later, it was the day before Valentine's Day. And his response was basically, hey, I'm really sorry you're not feeling well. He kept me company while I was sitting at home because I couldn't go to classes. I was really, really sick. And he said, we're just gonna have to have a makeup Valentine's Day date. And that's exactly what happened. On March 2nd, I drove back down to Worcester and he took me to a really nice restaurant in the area. And he had a whole itinerary written out. I still have it saved in my Google Drive after he showed it to me because I want to hold on to it forever. I was supposed to drive him to the airport the next day because he was going home for spring break, and he had written under that like a star or something. And I was like, oh, what's the star for? And he was like, well, I might as well ask you now. So on March 2nd, he then asked me to be his girlfriend after this ridiculous journey. And I said yes, and we have been together ever since. And we are living together in Florida. I'm not gonna quite end the video yet. I'm going to quickly run and I'm going to ask Ben what he thinks of this look, and then we'll wrap things up for good. Hey, Ben.
What up, girl?
Can you come here quickly?
Oh, of course I can.
How did I do on your recreation?
Ooh, wait, that looks so good.
Do you really think so?
I do, and you did eyeliner
I
well?
tried. The eyeliner looks really bad. That eye looks good. This eye looks bad. This eye, actually, I'm pretty impressed with
I was about to
myself
say, I think you did really well. That is what I was going for.
Thank you. I wanted to get
You're
your
very
approval.
spooky.
The other thing in this video was I was talking about the story of how we've met.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you have any details you'd like to add that you think I would leave out?
Oh, let's see. Well, she definitely messaged me first.
I said that, and I super liked. I said it.
Yes, but I messaged twice, so
In a
there's
row.
that.
Double texted.
Yeah, I did. No, I think you tell her story pretty well.
Thank you everybody for watching this video. As per usual, all the links will be down below. Please register to vote if you haven't. I know I look ridiculous, but please take me seriously here. It's all coming up really fast. Vote with your conscience and educate yourself on everything that's going on around you. And thank you so much for watching. We will see you. Just do it today.
In the next one?
We'll see you next Monday.
See you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.